now. Well, welcome, Rick, to Entrepreneurs, Business, and Finance. We're fortunate enough to have Rick Kersey on the show today, and he has a very interesting background. And we met indirectly through an entrepreneurs organization that we're both in, so very appropriate for this show. We're introduced through a mutual entrepreneur from the Entrepreneurs Organization, which used to be the Young Entrepreneurs Organization when we joined, and then changed the name, and of course we all got older. So
Yes, we did.
with that in mind, you have an interesting background from the Midwest. I believe you had some sort of success in wrestling to the extent that you even had a scholarship. And what did you major or focus in when you were in college?
Business, and thanks, Henry, for having me.
Yeah,
And business and staying out of trouble, and did a little wrestling too.
there you go. There you go. Well, and then I understand that you became an entrepreneur with your father and maybe some of your other family members into a family business that you eventually took over and grew and sold. Um,
Correct.
can you elaborate a little bit on that, or did I covered it
Well,
briefly? So
you did. You summed it up, but it was an industrial distribution company up in the Midwest, and we also did atmospheric gases, welding supplies, and etc. And my dad bought the company back in 1950, and then he decided, I don't know, he was getting too old, so he wanted to retire. And my brother, sister, and myself bought him out, and then ultimately I bought out my brother and sister and sold the company in 2007, ultimately.
well, that's a great success story. And so obviously you had some experience, quite a bit of extensive experience in the world of gas and dealing with metals and machinery. And somewhere along the line, you developed an interest in waste to energy. Can you talk a little bit about what waste to energy is for the folks that don't know, and also kind of how you got interested, and then perhaps the next step and where you actually developed a new technology to be used in waste to energy?
Yeah, so it bit of a journey. It was after I sold my first business, and was asked to get involved in a company that wanted to do some processing, and I was looking for opportunities, and we acquired the initial technology from a company in Texas, and ended up that we acquired it, didn't really go like we thought it would go. Then we did some development, and I did a lot of the development in the engineering, and ultimately have a completely, based on the same thought process, but a completely different technology that is proprietary, and that we utilize in our projects that we're working on presently.
I understand I mean, developing something like that takes a long time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. And you have one that you sold that's in production.
Yeah, California, correct.
And so it's up and running and proven, which is one hurdle. And now I believe you have, because I'm helping you with secure some financing on this, so I know that you
Yes.
have perhaps a dozen, as many as a dozen projects in the works across Europe, of which maybe 6 will make sense, maybe more as time goes on. Um, and what will those projects look like as far as um, what you'll be doing?
Yeah, so waste energy, which you mentioned earlier, which is basically the concept of taking waste products and turning them into a useful energy source, whether it's gas or power or plastics, whatever it might be. And waste energy is a pretty broad term that it covers anything from incineration all the way to high tech, hydrogen production, so to speak. So but in the projects that we have, we have a number of what we do differently is we have a number of technologies that we either own, acquired, or um, have rights to, and we do it completely differently than a typical, uh, or I should say, waste to energy. And it's all about zero landfill, and it's all about utilizing the full waste stream. And other than potential hazardous materials, bad nasties, refrigerators, bowling balls, etc., but utilizing the whole waste stream and then turning it into a useful product, whether that be syngas, which is and taking the syngas and then making electricity, or actually just selling the gas as a product, which is done in a number of areas also.
And elaborate a little bit, because one of the things that I'm very excited about is what you talked about. Um, this is you didn't say it exactly, but a green energy, and what that means as opposed to other types of waste to energy.
Correct. Yes. So we create our own power to run our own plant. And so we're utilizing the waste stream and create our own power to run our plant to then produce electricity. So we're not using electricity off the grid to produce electricity to sell it back to the grid. We are a zero um, uh, energy user. And in a lot of cases, waste energy, especially in the US, which we operate right now only in Europe, but in the US, incineration is a big waste to energy buzzword, which is they basically take waste from the landfill and throw it in an incinerator and burn it and produce electricity with it, which is in our minds not really waste to energy. It's but incineration is obviously very popular. It's in the scheme of things fairly inexpensive, but it's 20, 30-year old technology. So what we do is utilize the whole waste stream, wet, organics, um, everything. We pre-process it, which is what's key to our system, which involves the proprietary part, where we separate metals, we recycle those, etc. Then we gasify, and we have gasification technology that has 10,000 hours of performance in the 9th version of this technology. It's been around for 7 years, and it's on the 9th version and has 10,000 hours on it. So it's proven also, and that's obviously the key to these systems, are having components that are proven, because there's a lot of technologies out there in the waste energy field that are ideas and not proven or utilized. So that's one of our advantages.
And the way you're approaching this now is that you're going to be a partner operating the business with a local business. You want to talk a little bit about your strategy with regard to that? So you're not
Absolutely.
selling a technology, you're running a business with the technology.
No, that's correct, Henry. And we people on staff, we have the ability to develop projects. But like with anything, especially in Europe, we're working from anywhere from Ireland to the UK to Kosovo to a wide berth, and we can't be experts in every area, every feedstock, every power grid. So we always look for local partners, whether it's in Ireland or the UK or Kosovo or Sri Lanka, for example. And because they have the local knowledge, they have the what's so important to a successful project. And then we bring, as you said, we bring the developing the project, and we bring the technologies and the know-how. And so how we look at this is a collaboration, a partnership with a local provider, and they usually get the agreements. They do all of the local things that we may not be good at, and then we bring what we do into the mix.
The thing that I find so exciting about it, and you can re-say it in your own words, but you literally take trash, you create energy, and you said that. I don't know that you emphasize that when we say green, it means there isn't pollution, there aren't emissions. It's a contained environment, and the only byproduct is something that can be used in construction and is not toxic.
No, Henry, you're absolutely right, and that I think is a very important point. Our gasification process is unique to the fact that it takes the reactor temperature up to 1340 degrees Celsius, and so everything toxic, everything that might be in the waste stream, is literally obliterated, and it turns it into vitrified aggregate, basically. So there's not even an ash disposal in this particular sense when we do MSW, and that is key, especially with MSW that has contaminants and etc. In waste to energy, biochar is a big buzzword that people use, but the feedstock has to be organic to be able to be useful, to be land applied. You can't get biochar from MSW and land applied because of the stuff that might be in it. So by our gasification process, it vitrifies it, and you can actually utilize it in aggregates, cement, whatever it might be. So we have no pollutants that then go back into the ecosystem.
I mean, all my years in energy, I just absolutely love the idea and so happy to be affiliated with you and helping work with you because if you can take something that's going to go to a dump and leak and cause all sorts of problems and take that and create that into power without polluting, and I know you can and you are, that is a game changer. So congratulations. And that's quite a story how you got there. And I know there were some trials and tribulations. You put it nicely where you bought it and then it didn't work the way you wanted. That's the stories that I hear with entrepreneurs. This is entrepreneurs, business, and finance. And if you don't have some of those valleys, then um, well, I just think most entrepreneurs, if not all, have had those valleys. So, hey, thank
Yeah,
you so much for being on the show, and
absolutely enjoyed it.
look forward to talking to you soon.
You bet. Thanks, Henry.